Welcome back. Since Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa, or after the fall of apartheid, voters have overwhelmingly supported the ANC party. But that could be about to change. A fifth of ANC supporters have said they'll vote for the newly formed COPE party. And with elections just around the corner, the ANC could lose its majority in government. COPE is made up of defectors from the ANC, and some argue this means the party is not that different from the current administration. COPE is yet to form its full list of policies, but it may seek to maintain ANC ideals and fulfill promises the Congress made in the 90s. Well, public support for the ANC has waned due to corruption allegations within the party, something COPE hopes to avoid. There's also a feeling that promises to tackle AIDS and racism have not been met. On top of this, South Africa's economy is struggling and poverty and crime are rife. The newly formed COPE party is hoping the current government's failure to tackle these problems will help catapult them to victory in upcoming parliamentary elections next year. Well, we're still joined by our guests in Johannesburg, Jesse Duarte, and in Pretoria, Daniel Hammett, and still on the line from Bloemfontein, Philip Dexter. Mr. Dexter, if I can start with you. Your COPE party has been making promises of hope and change ahead of next year's general elections. It all sounds very grand and idealistic, but what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you know, we are adopting a policy framework this weekend at the conference, and we've identified a number of key issues. I mean, first of all, one of the key things that South Africans have been saying they're dissatisfied with is the electoral system, where we elect politicians, particularly at national and provincial level, who are not directly elected by constituencies. They are elected on party lists. This gives tremendous power to the political party to really exercise patronage and to move people around and to dismiss them. What South Africans are in favour of, and that comes through in many, many opinion polls, is a change in the electoral system so that they can directly elect the president, premiers, mayors, and members of parliament. We've also done a lot of research around the criminal justice system. The ANC has recently passed legislation to shut down the most successful crime-fighting unit, the Scorpions. South Africans are very much in favour of not only continuing with a unit like the Scorpions, but taking the systems that the Scorpions have used, which have been very successful, and applying them across the board to all serious and violent crimes.
All right, well, Jesse Duarte, what do you make of that proposal that the president should be directly elected? Is that a good idea?
Well, you know, a system like that, I could just say to you, the research was in fact done by the ANC. And ironically enough, the person who chaired the committee that gave the report back to the ANC was Mr. Shilowa himself when he was a member of the NEC, of the ANC. That report revealed that it would take time to move in that direction, that it was not something one did overnight, and it is not a promise we should make easily without looking at doing it in a very well-organized manner. It does require changing the constitution of our country, which the ANC is saying that we won't do it in the next administration at all. We're not going to make any changes to the constitution.
But do you think that that's what the people want now, especially after the way that Thabo Mbeki was ousted from power?
Well, the problem is by choosing a president that is not directly accountable to anybody except everybody, is that might reduce accountability to a great extent, and that is a key feature. We have had many research done in the country. We've had many rounds of research done. We've asked this question. We have not had people say that they want to change the constitution in that direction. We have had many focus groups where we've directly asked this question. We have not had any response that is positive in the direction of changing towards a presidential election system. People point to Zimbabwe as a key reason why there shouldn't be presidential elections in young democracies, and we agree with that. We believe that the president of our country has to be accountable somewhere. And if he's accountable to anybody and everybody, he's not accountable to anybody.
Yeah, Daniel Hammett, COPE party is hoping that concerns about jobs, crime, AIDS will help attract voters, but analysts are saying that actually most of its policies in those areas are similar to the ANC's, that essentially they're not offering anything new.
To an extent, but I think you can see most democracies around the world, the main parties often have policies that are very closely aligned. I think COPE have opened up a couple of new debates, or debates that have been untouchable up until this point, and something like affirmative action and COPE's discussion of how to work with that and change it maybe in the future is going to open up a lot of debates that until this time haven't really been able to be touched on, often because opposition parties are loath to broach those issues, or they've been shot down as counter-revolutionaries or unreconstructed racists for raising those issues. So maybe it's not that we're looking for drastic changes in policy, but we're looking at some key areas in which COPE are offering something different, or at least offering the chance for citizens of the country to enter into critical debate, which some would argue hasn't been opened up as much as so far. In terms of policies such as HIV/AIDS, the new health minister at the moment has started to make some steps in the right direction as far as I'm concerned, but COPE may well be able to offer something new, something different going beyond that. It really depends on what comes out of the current workshop in Bloemfontein that's going on.
Philip Dexter, what is COPE offering? Will they be able to bring something new to the table? Because there is a lot of speculation. Thabo Mbeki has said that he isn't involved with the new party, but there are others who say that he actually orchestrated the breakup and that the party's creation is firmly rooted in the way that he was treated, the way he was forced from power.
Well, that's absolute nonsense. Thabo Mbeki has written to the president of the ANC stating very clearly, and that's a publicly published letter, that he's a member of the ANC. He has never had anything to do with the Congress of the People. And, I think that these stories are put about because of the problems and divisions that go on inside the ANC. They have nothing to do with us. But I think, as I was saying, I've already identified two key areas around the electoral system and the criminal justice system where we believe we're offering something significantly different. The same would be true of economic policy and certainly of services. I mean, the level of public services that people receive in this country at the moment is shocking if one considers the money that they have to pay. Education is a good example. We have an education system that does not produce the level of graduates and school leavers who are equipped to go into the labor market. We've been told for the last 15 years that essentially that's because of apartheid. We don't believe it's good enough to continue laying the blame at the foot of apartheid, and we'd like, in our view, to have a far more proactive role around ensuring that we get the quality of services to people that they deserve.
Jesse Duarte, what's your response to that? Poor public services, poor education, really, that ANC rule leaves much to be desired?
Well, to a little extent, let me agree with Philip Dexter. We served on the NEC for 10 years together, and certainly he was part of making those decisions that led to what he now calls poor policies. But the ANC at Polokwane decided that we were going to focus on 5 areas, and that certainly the next administration is going to be all about speeding up delivery. In terms of education, improving the education system we have is a must. It's not a negotiable matter for the ANC. The country is complaining about lack of skills, and we believe that what has come to us in the last 10 years has been good. We have more black graduates in this country than we've ever had in the history of South Africa. We need to say that. But at the same time, we need people who have different skills that are more technical. We also need to look at separating the ministries, ministries of education into 2, so that there can be more deliberate focus. We will be focusing on health delivery services, very specifically.
Yeah. We're running out of time, so just one brief final thought from all of you.
Thank you.
This is being described as the biggest split within the ANC since the 1950s. Is this the end of the ANC's dominance in South African politics? Could this be the beginning of a new era? Philip Dexter, to you first.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's not about a split in the ANC. It's about a change in the political firmament. What we're seeing is a massive groundswell of people who are saying that they want to deepen democracy, they want a change in the quality of governance, and they believe that the Congress of the People will offer them that.
Okay, Jesse Duarte, your response.
Thank you very much. We want more qualitative and accountable leadership than we've had, and that we've seen leaving the ANC now have been people who have not actually delivered in the portfolios where they were. Polokwane came as a huge change for the ANC already. We're very happy with that change. We believe that we have the opportunity to deepen our democracy and to deliver qualitatively to the people of South Africa.
Okay, Daniel Hammett, a final thought from you on the significance of this breakaway party.
I don't think the breakaway party COPE is going to be the death knell of the ANC. I think what it will do is at the provincial levels it will really challenge the ANC in certain provinces, and hopefully it will stimulate a lot more focus in terms of achievement rather than rhetoric, which is a way forward. Long term, I think COPE are likely to be around for a while, and hopefully the discourses and arguments that will arise from that and the discussions between the parties will be evidence of a deepening democracy in South Africa.
Well, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed to our guests for joining us in Johannesburg, Jessie Duarte in Pretoria, Daniel Hammett, and on the line from Bloemfontein, Philip Dexter. And thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. We, of course, welcome your comments and suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. Bye for now.